Alright guys, I'm trying to go live and it's giving me the same issues. Oh no. Oh no, it's starting right now. Can you see me and hear me? I'm going to put some music and just to see that this is stable, and we'll go from there. Let's go with happy life music. Hi Chris, hi Kylie, hi Knitting Yogi, hi Barbie. All the main mods are here. I'll put it record on the phone. Hi Jennifer, hi Joanne, hi Lynn. Good morning. Do you guys have a snow? I have a kitty cat. Hi Yummy. Hi. Hi Sophie. Sophie's birthday is in less than a week, February 4th. I think she's going to be, oh my god, 8. She'll be 8. Good morning, good girl. Good morning. Yeah. Say hi. Sophie. Are you furball? Meow. Okay, let's remove the text. And we are starting, my baby. Yeah. Shall we start, Sophie? Do I have your permission? And now? How about now? Don't. That's going to mess up the camera. It took me forever to put it together. I guess she's arranging the scene. Hello, Lorna. Oh, Chris, thank you very much. If you can see a trend. Okay, guys, how is your Mercury Retrograde? Let me tell you. Last week was just the beginning. What you saw, it was hilarious. I had, for anything else, I'm trying to find how to see the oh, come on. Are you going to kill the plant? I'm trying to see how do I find positive out of the mess. And I just realized that it was experience like being a ghost, where you're talking and they're talking about you and you are all expressing, oh, I hope Cat is okay. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? And I said actually at one point that I just came back from walking tiger, and somebody said, oh, she probably just came back from walking tiger. So I was assuming the conversation is taking place. Then I talked about cauliflower pizza that I was like just finishing, and then I think Nick Yogi was doing that. And then I think, what's her name? Kylie, you said something. I was like, is this even possible? And yet all the time I thought you were pulling my leg. That's right, it was an OA moment completely. And I was just trying to patch it up, but it was really horrible. And that was just the beginning. Then I took a day off and I started recording monthlies. And then my computer just died with all the monthlies in as I was processing. I couldn't recover any of these files. And it's hours and hours and hours of work. And I was like, oh my God, I have to do it from the freaking beginning. So I still didn't do monthlies, and I don't remember sufficiently to tell a story. And honestly, what really bothers me is like, I don't like redoing things. I know that some readers, they see a bad reading, they just make a new one. I'm thinking like, well, these are the messages that I have to get, right? And I'm sorry. And I guess readership is more important than telling the truth. I'm kind of like not this way. And then the back wiper on my car broke. Then my light on the car died. It just like gave me a low beam. We have to check it. What else? Oh, the printer died. Oh yeah, the last night I have my whole apartment is in Alexa, and basically it turns on and off. Everything is automatic. It's going on for such a long time that I forgot the even idea of turning on and off light bulbs and stuff. So last night I'm just saying kind of like, Alexa, turn it off, and it's just like, what? Nothing was happening. So I had to get up tired and turn off all the stuff, and it's saying device not responsive. It's loving hell. So that's Mercury retrograde, and I'm hoping shadow usually affects me the most, but you guys are going into real Mercury retrograde today. So let's see where this basically take us. And I hope you can hear me. If you can hear me, tell me. Kylie, what did you say last week? I'm just trying to remember. Oh my God. I just don't want to listen to this all the time, but it was something. For some reason, S is coming to me. Were you taking a course or something? And I was just talking about it, and then you mentioned it. This is the bizarre thing, and I think if you guys really want to see how basically tarot works and how intuition works and how good are the mods over here, all you need to do is go and listen to my audio. And I don't know if the audio is not going to give you chat. That sucks because it didn't record it, but you can see partially because there are only a few signs that are missing, I think. Oh yeah, the signs that are, I think four are missing video. That's right. If you just listen part 1, because in this part 1 I'm still not able to clue in that you are not actually seeing that I'm reading. And then in that part you can just see that I was like in some kind of like land of Oz of some sort, right? It was just like really weird, right? So charter, that's lots of nice kind of like things over here. Jennifer, on the 27th in the morning, a very close cousin of mine, Ziegler, okay. Oh my God, just got home from doing sunrise service. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry to hear this. This, you know, pandemic is really hard. It's kind of like can't do it, right? So feeling tired is normal for this, especially because we feel that oh yeah, Kylie, you finished it, right? You graduated something right now, right? So something like that. I am sorry, Jennifer. You know what we can do? Thought is good for it. Let me see what your friend is. Do you know by any chance birthday of your friend? I did it for a customer of mine. He just sent me that I know it's not the same, so don't please judge me, but his cat died, and I know how close he was to his cat, so I did a reading and sent it to him, and he said, oh my gosh, this is my breezy, this is so much, and he was like very grateful, and it was testing for me if I can connect in that realm as well. So, but let's see. And Ziggy Ziegler, if you know the birthday or something, that really would be helpful. It's not absolutely necessary. Sometimes people send me pictures or something. For some reason, I know that some readers, they don't need anything, but for me, this is really, really important. So, I'm glad that you're here. I didn't see you before. And I'm going to, since you didn't give me the thing. Oh, here it is. Just sending me. Oh, there you go. Oh my gosh, it was just after the birthday. Okay, so let me just mark this down. Sophie. Sophie. Let me write this down. So it is Ziggy Ziegler. You know, I know this is not easy for you right now. Let me just write it down one thing at a time. I was recently doing lots of studies on basically death. And the truth is that on the other side, and this is why you need to watch OA. The OA, like on Netflix, is just going to kind of give you different perspective. Death is just experience, and it's basically somebody's just simply returning home. So, Ziggy, Charter, if you don't mind me asking, and I never do that, I just need your first name, if Charter is not your first name. Just so, you know, the spirit guides go, who the heck, right? It's just they don't kind of like do everything. I think Safi speaks English, except it's just like very limited vocabulary. It's pretty much yes or no, and demands and threats. Safi, do you want to come over, please? Come over. Safi. Oh, there you go. You see? And she also understands this. What is your name, Charter? Just give me your first name. So, Terrell Lynn. Safi. Is Terrell Lynn with us, Safi? Can you call? Safi, cannot. The reason why I'm asking, Charter, I honestly have so many clients I cannot think of your name right now. It's just like when I shuffle the cards and when I ask for the spirits, Oksana. That's right, Oksana. I remember everything about you, Oksana. It's such a unique name. Okay. Thank you. So, Terrell Lynn Ziegler, or Ziggy Ziegler, January 18th, 1978. Oksana is here. She is mourning your suicide. Can you tell us what happened? And if you have any message for Oksana. Can you tell what happened? And if you have any message for Oksana. Not here yet. Terrell Lynn Ziegler, January 16, 1978. Oksana is here. She wants to talk to you. Terrell Lynn Ziegler. Victory wants. Terrell Lynn Ziegler. Can you give some messages to Oksana? Tell us what happened. The Emperor reversed. This one wants to come out. 8 of Wands. And this one. So you have 6 of Wands, victory. You have the Emperor reversed. You have swiftness, 8 of Wands. And then you have the Magician, the Magus over here, which is really, really interesting. So what is basically him telling you that you shouldn't worry, that he knows that your world is a little bit upside down over here, because look at this, like 16, like how do you know it's him? Look, 6 and 8, 14 and 1, 15. Which card is 15 in tarot? Devil. And which horoscope sign is associated with this? Capricorn. And which sign is Ziggy Ziegler? Capricorn, January 16th. So we know that he's here, and he's telling you, yeah, you see, this is kind of like upside down kind of a thing, because technically I'm not reading for somebody who is in this world. I'm reading for somebody who is, you know, passed over, and clearly kind of like a connection was made. Ziggy is doing very well. Ziggy really wanted this transition. It was not done out of despair, if that's what you're asking. It was going home. And look at this, 6 of Wands is victory. That really tells you, I really wanted to do that. This person was very spiritual. This person, or is very spiritual, I have to say, because it's the same energy on this side and on this side. And this is the telling card from me to all. This one is simply him saying, no, I'm fine. I am in charge. It's all good. I'm feeling firm. You might be getting some kind of messages, or this is a message for you. Was there some kind of like love between the two of you? Because this is usually a love card as well. It's a Mars. It's a very strong Mars over here that is really, really showing. And this kind of like talks about swift messages. And so basically maybe this is the message for you that is basically happening, or I actually feel you will be getting additional messages. So look for your dreams. That's where it happens. For example, this is what happened to me last night. I'm going to tell you this later because I want to focus on this. So somebody remind me to tell them about that. Sometimes literally like that's what I was telling you about, my Alexa talking to me out of nowhere, confirming their spirit guides around me. And sometimes I see the little coins or feathers, and sometimes you simply ask almost like something freaking impossible. I want the eagle to fly by me to confirm A, B, C, or D, and it does. This card, however, in tarot is the Magician. It's really the link between God and mankind, and it is as above, so below. But look at in this deck, right? He is also looking up, where in the regular Rider-Waite decks, let me just lift this up a little bit, he is looking down and he's looking at his table and his tools. Here you can even see the humans on the bottom, and you can see him being elevated. Your friend is doing very well. In fact, he feels that on that side, that he now needs to take care of you and watch over you. It was time for him to go home. In my karma readings, I have like these 4 exit points, and this means that at any point we can check these points out, and that's it, end their story, and hence whatever we were supposed to accomplish in the life, if we still haven't, it kind of gets transferred to the next one, like additional homework, or maybe he did everything he wanted to do. So this is actually, I know this is not how you feel, because on this end, we always feel connected. We always feel kind of like sadness when, you know, there is like absence on somebody we cherish. But on the other side, they say, hey, wait a minute, don't feel sorry for me. I still reside in your heart. I'm still going to be there. And he's telling you, I'll be there with you. Look at this, there are 2 majors coming through, and there's like some kind of like motion going on. So one thing is for sure, your friend is around you. Like that's why you have the wands. Look at the fire, and air. So these are the higher elements, and this kind of like talks about spiritual upliftment. And also there is like that stigma that if you commit suicide, you don't go to hell or heaven, especially if you're religious. This is not the case. This guy definitely, he transitioned, and his passage is smooth, and he is looking over you, watching over you, and the message is that he is fine. So I really, really hope that that helps. Oh, your door number is also 15, so there you go. So this is a clear connection. February 3rd, I wish you a happy birthday. I have a feeling, let me see, ask Terrell, are you going to, I wanted to ask, are you going to show up on February the 3rd? And he said, I can't do that. I can't do that. There are things I need to do. So your birthday might not be the target, and that's why we usually assign significance to the important things in our life. But just so you know, even though this is a 3, like 12, 1 and 2 is 3, The hangman is usually talking about suspensions, right? So when you're just watching from a completely different perspective or a different dimension, as it looks here, look at this. It's the life and kind of like being strung upon. So I think he's going through this process. What basically happens on the other side, you go through detox process. And like there are like these two towers when you arrive. I seen them in few of my meditations, but I was reading the spirituality kind of like books. So I know that my role is simply to be a teacher right there at these towers on the other side, where I, like an indigo child, I kind of like welcome people and heal them from this 3D trauma where we live in this life, right? So he is right there because, oh my gosh, like, I mean, if it's not clear to you, this is hell, that's heaven, right? So we technically don't go to heaven because we simply kind of like put everything in perspective in this healing process. So that's where he is. And this is basically, take your cell phones, they take your connection. The only way that you communicate with people if you're a ghost. And I had that experience the last week. So I really, really hope that really, really helps. Oh, I know. Oh my gosh, killing your cat. Don't even talk to me about it. I did it. I'm going to start to cry just thinking about it. I don't get that emotional, but when it comes to my freaking pets and that you need to do something, that's really, really bad. Whew. So let me just put some music here, just a little bit, just to break this kind of like a thing. Something really short, super short, super short. What do I have here? Super short, 43 seconds. Let's do 43 seconds over here of something, just to kind of like allow kind of like my thoughts to get together. I hope you're feeling better, Oksana. If you can, you just need to understand that somebody's going to be with you now all the time. Just give it this initial period to kind of like go over there, right? So, okay, creative guru, you missed something huge. Kind of go back and read the thing so we don't go into it. So I'm going to just tell you what happened last night. I have Fitbit, which I love because of the sleep patterns. Like everything else is just calculating, am I at 1 hour with Tiger or not else? It's kind of hard in this, we have the snow, it's really, really cold right now. It's like minus 17 with the wind and stuff. So, and it's the snow that is just making it bad to walk. You always kind of like falling. It's almost like walking in the sand, right? And so last night, as I told you, I had this like issues with Alexa and didn't want to turn off the lights off. The Alexa in the car did work though this morning. Alexa works on its own, but like it doesn't want to do all these devices kind of a thing around that is connecting to. So I was really, really tired, and I think I fell asleep around, oh heck, what was it, around 11:30, right? And I remember waking up around 5 and going to the bathroom and going right back to sleep. So when I woke up, I felt really refreshed. What you have on a Fitbit, it tells you the quality of the sleep, how deep you were, how long you were in deep sleep, in REM sleep, and so on and so forth. Now, this is like what I remembered, right? Like from what happened. But look at my freaking Fitbit. I woke up, and I'm going to show you. It tells me that I only slept 5 hours and 45 minutes. I woke up at 8:30. So that would be about 9 hours minus what I was twisting and turning, let's say 8 hours. But check it out. It's telling me that I had two kind of like different things, that I slept from midnight to 2:30, and it was a really bad sleep, kind of like a thing, that I was kind of like rather 13 minutes restless out of it. And then that I had 1 hour for 2:30 in the morning to 4:30, which I didn't. And this is the first time this happened. I really think this is simply Mercury Retrograde because it's clearly showing me as awake, etc. And I know exactly what time it was when I went to the bathroom, because I was thinking, is this maybe too early to walk Tiger? And then I went kind of like look into that. So I think this was a glitch. It's the first time that I noticed, but this is another thing as well. So, Charter, don't feed your animals commercial food. It makes them sick. Actually, no. I don't. I have different experiences. I feed my animals with really, really high level food. Cats are eating some rabbit pellets, and like my cats lived up to 21, right? And they were very healthy, like knock it 3 times. These little two pigs that I have currently, they're eating Temptations, which is really bad for them. I have to just stop giving them because that's almost like fried freaking donuts or something. And the dog is eating something with without rice, so mostly meat. And of course, he waits for my goodies and he eats. Yesterday, I tried to coat a mushroom, and I dipped the mushroom in bacon, and so kind of had all this bacon smell and a little bit of a steak. And I was slicing a steak, and he was eating steak with me. Then I tried to snuggle the mushroom in, and he took it and said, "Yeah, I cheated the dog." And then you can see him all of a sudden, kind of like going back and forth in his mouth. It looks like he was licking everything and just like spat out the mushroom. It was really, really hilarious. So, guys, like prayers for Charter to kind of like feel better, for Oksana. I really hope things move forward. Now you're going to realize that you do have somebody who is with you, except you're not going to be able to have this conversation back and forth. And that's kind of like why it does. A commercial Whiskas is bad. I mean, that's what you're meaning. Well, I don't buy it from the store. I buy it from the specialty stores. So my dogs are eating N&D, and I don't know what is like the one that I buy in PetSmart for the cats. So, all right. Aquarians have a birthday. I have another decision that I made today, and the decision is this. We have mostly mods here because kind of like I like this like clean cut forum, and I'm really glad we are getting people who are my clients or who are just like seeing live happening coming over as well. So initially I was just doing the angel cards for mods, and then I said, well, then if you're in a chat, yes, I know that every single sign kind of like sends you messages, because when you're in a live chat, you are not necessarily need to adhere to your own sign, because you are like actually here helping with the energy. But I'm going to take you to the next level. Now I'm going to have the first round is going to be just angel cards for everybody. And so you're going to get it in the middle, and at the end I'm not going to repeat with angel cards because it used to be angel cards for mods. After we finish the second round of doors, guys, I'm actually going to pull a card, and I prepared Morgan Greer. I don't know, I can do Thoth as well, and it's going to be for the mods. It's going to be mini one card reading for each thing. Oh, look at this. Aquarians, the Safi girl is on the 4th. So she is on my, what? Oh my gosh, I'm looking for it, and it's the 4th of January. So this doesn't make sense. So it is on Thursday. So hopefully by then I'm going to finish. Yeah, I was just talking about you. Yeah, I was talking about you. Do you love live readings? Huh? Do you like to be a superstar? Oh, yes, I know, I hear. Who's having a birthday? What are you going to get for birthday? Huh? You want a bug? Huh? You like that? You want a snake? You want a bug tiger? Okay, I need to get rid of my past. As you notice, like she kind of like likes to. I can't believe that she's going to be 8 years old. Look at her. Say mommy. Say mama. That's not mama. No, neither is dad. Come on. Can I get some space on the table, pretty please? Thank you. There you go. All right. So let's start with Aquarius. Now when I set the grounds, she can be a little bit too much. I have to tell you, when I'm on a coaching kind of like appointments, she kind of like doesn't stop meowing. It's like meow, 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 meow. It's kind of like hilarious, kind of like you're trying to focus, and when I do the readings, I kind of like to have the space. It's almost like the vibration kind of comes through. So let's start with Aquarius. Aquarius, guys. So Aquarius and Virgo and Gemini will be affected the most. And since Uranus, I think Uranus, where it is, I think it's in the air sign, which means air signs will be affected quite a bit. So yeah, so let's see, Aqua people, what's happening this week? So we have the Hierophant reversed, we have 10 of Pentacles reversed. Are you guys dealing with Taurus of some sort? The Hierophant reversed, actually, I wouldn't say this is a good sign for, let's say, Taurus, because this is their thing. I'm just going to get this deck for clarifiers. But I would say this is a good sign for us Aqua people, because it's really talking about being unconventional. It's talking about maybe it's like something like almost looks like it's either a fallout with the family, or oh my gosh, last time I did predicted death for somebody. I'm just like having goosebumps and flashbacks of some sort. It's so weird. Oh my gosh, Knitting Yogi, just buckle up, make sure you have the tires, everything works out okay. Be careful when you send any text messages and so on and so forth, right? So 10 of Pentacles, it's a really interesting card, because this kind of like talks about the rules, and like I'm seeing this as quote unquote inheritance. I'm seeing this as somebody sometimes putting up the face that everything is okay but it's not okay, or giving that I'm reading for Aquarius, it could simply mean that we are just walking away from something, and that will be typical because it's the time of our birthday where we just don't want anything traditional, right? However, when people ask us and put us against the wall, what the heck you want? Okay, I'm trying to do something for you, but like you're not making it easy, kind of a thing. It looks like we are very undecisive with kind of like this, but look at this, 10, 15, 17, it is our card. It is the star coming through. So I just want to get a little bit more over here. And we have haughtiness, and it is reversed, right? So that's really interesting, because this card is not good either up or down, right? Because it simply talks about, you know, like, I mean, rubbing into somebody's face, I mean, doing so much better than you, that kind of like sort of things. But when it comes reversed, it talks about sort of like a healthy awareness of one's limitation. So you need to know, okay, I cannot do this and I can do this, right? And it's kind of like, it is about being proud, kind of a thing, right? So maybe you need to, or we need to get more sure about the things. After all, she's blindfolded. There is like some kind of decision between a head and a heart that has to be made, and maybe we just don't think we can do certain things. So I really think this maybe talks about building relationships on completely new terms. Some of you who maybe had a relationship that has been frayed, you might restore this relationship, right? It kind of like there was some kind of like walls. I'm just like seeing a room with walls, no doors, and now the walls are falling down, right? If you had a fallout with a friend or some kind of relationship, that's back on, right? And this also kind of like extends to somebody at work, or some kind of like distant things as well. Now, so they're like two reversals as well, so it can talk about some kind of like emotional turbulence of some sort, right? So keeping in mind when kind of like this combination comes through, that maybe wearing turquoise would help in a situation, especially because some of you looks like you're going through some kind of like transitioning, if you wish, and certain things kind of like need to get clear, and that's what is really, really happening. So Aquarians, for this particular week, for the birthdays this week, for Safi, I guess you kind of like want something different, but you don't know what you want. And it might be because you're kind of like more aloof, I would say, as a result, kind of like mulling it over what I want, that you will feel that that other people will feel, oh my god, I shouldn't be playing with this person because this person is not interested, and somehow the things are going to restore and resolve themselves. And this is kind of like really what is really interesting, and kind of like how that can move forward. So that's much for Aquarians. Going first this week because of the birthday. So let's put this up. Let's have a sip of coffee right here. All right. Oop, something jumped and then I took this one out. The jumper is Pisces. Okay, Pisces. Let's see what we have for you. All right. And poor Barbie, guys. Do you know what? I was messed up last week, but guess who was messed up more? Barbie. Because she was like, what do I do? All the stamps are messed up because with this Mercury Retrograde, it also did not record everything. Luckily, it records some. It's still 4 signs are missing. She's like, I don't know what to do with the stamps. Oh my God, help. Poor thing, right? So my birthday is on the 15th, so still not in this week. I have what they call it flag birthday in Canada. Did you know that Canadian flag was also born on February 15th? So kind of like every year, like it's a holiday. So of course Canada had to be made the country of the origin. So that's right. Barbie got a headache for sure. Look at this. We have a Hierophant again, but it's up right now. And then we have Ace of Wands. Boy, I love this deck. The colors are so vibrant. And I think it shows well on camera versus the regular deck. So Pisces, you have the Hierophant, you have Ace of Wands, and you have 6 of Wands reversed. So you have 12 altogether, and 12, it is Neptune. It is kind of like connecting with you, the Hangman kind of like card. So this is kind of like what is really, really coming through. Ooh, you have Lord over here as well. Okay, Pisces, there are a few types of interpretations that I can tell you. Charter will explain this. Just let me finish Pisces first. Now, it could be somebody who is married, with whom you're going to hook up together again, and you're going to be very happy about it initially, but then you're going to get not so happy in the end, because that's why you have the 6 of Wands reversed. But even though 6 of Wands reverses, it's not necessarily a bad card. It still shows like it was something that was expected. It was like not something that really happened, that kind of like was not something that you know, you didn't know. You kind of like know everything, because Ace of Wands is some kind of like renewal. It's some kind of like refreshment. Something sparks again. This also can talk about the shift. So somebody was, let's say, a person who didn't consider dating, or it was somebody who I don't know, was just a friend that was no attraction. No, something happens and it kind of like changes everything, right? It's interesting that I have both the Hierophant and the Lord over here, because they're both very firm figures. They're kind of like established. They're following kind of like this traditional kind of like path about everything. It's about the protection. So it could be supervisors. It could be some kind of like a employer or boss. But it can be like kind of nobility or somebody with wealth as well. So clearly there is like need for some kind of education, and there is like need to be responsible over here, right? It's kind of like, if you look at this card, he has both stick and the sword. So wands and swords over here, and yet look at this, his horse is white. So he's not highly passionate, if you really, really wish, right? So somebody's going to be very attentive to you, that's for sure. You will be able to trust this week to somebody. Are you here again? I think for love, if you're really thinking about something that you really want for yourself for this week, it means that it's going to be quite a bit of the luck. There's going to be something where you're admired, there's like somebody serious, and it almost like that you will feel, oh, I just can't help but falling in love with this person, right? And if, for example, it's work, right, then it's going to be somebody who is your supervisor or above you, who will kind of like shine the light on you, and who is going to kind of like bring some accomplishments, and you're going to get, if not promotion, a big pat on the shoulder kind of a thing, right? So you're going to feel very energetic this week, but it's also telling you need to kind of like go to tried and true. You just cannot go and deviate from that path, and that's going to be very, very important to kind of like acknowledge. So Pisces, it's going to be a week of enjoyment. As I said, you have the overall feeling of 12, which is the hangman. Hangman means you kind of like should relinquish control and allow things to take its course, because universe kind of like is preparing something for you, so it would be much easier if you kind of like get out of the way. And I think this is Aquarius. Yep, and it was jumping out. So thank you, Aquarius. Yes, we did you. It was done. So who is going to be the next? Okay, so I remember the questions. No other crazy reading tarot. Also, people with birthday of 13 are powerful in a different way. Like, I'm born on the 15th, but 15 is like, yeah, it shows devil in tarot. But if you just look at numerologically, 15, 1 and 5 is 6. So these sixes are generally liking relationships, liking people, liking harmony, kind of like we would be attracted also to kind of like coastal regions and to water is kind of like really important. 6 is very balanced. If you really want to see kind of like the definitions of the numbers, you can go on my website. I have it, and this is also on my list. I want to redo my website, and I don't know, like, wanting to do different readings. I feel there are just too many of them at this stage, and include Lenormand reading, which is much harder. It's going to cost a little bit more, but I don't want to have like list like Chinese menu either, right? So I have to think through that. And Mercury Retrograde is good to think about it, because I have been thinking to do that for a while. Number 13 is interesting, because number 13, well, depends. It can be very, for example, my dad's house number is 31, which is the same. And it kind of goes down to Emperor, but you also have to think that the last year was basically kind of like having this feeling of number 4. And there are also some numbers that are karmic numbers. I think 13 is a karmic number. I think 19 is karmic number as well, which means when you're living that number through, you need to clean some karmic debt that you accumulated in the past life. So that's very, very important. So let's see. Ooh, we have Taurus. Taurus, you came out twice with the Hierophant, so now you're saying, okay, take me next. I'll put your thingy here. Taurus. Stamp here. All right, Taurus. Let's shuffle the cards over here. I'm holding my landlord hostage. Ooh, you have a 10 of Pentacles, and this one wanted to come out. It's a 4 of Swords, and then it's 8 of Cups reversed. Let me get the Gypsy. Ooh, which one? This one? Wife reversed, and this one, Melancholy. Well, 10 of Pentacles is like one of the most difficult cards I find to kind of like do, because it's very individual, right? And when I do the private readings, I actually don't ask you for a background. Some of you do, and I have both clients that I read a lot for them, where I'm able to kind of like comprehend everything that is going on. It's almost like sometimes disadvantage, because, ooh, this makes no sense, I would say, because I would say something, and let's see what would that really mean in your situation. And sometimes it does make sense, even though it didn't make sense. I was watching recently Unsolved Mysteries, like the old ones, and I bumped into that guy who was struck by lightning, and all of a sudden he started to have psychic powers, and he was predicting big events. I think JFK assassination and stuff like that, and he was telling this to his friends, and it was not making money anything out of it, just like telling things, and things happen. And then he decided to spend time in let's say nursery homes and kind of like help them transition. And few times people kind of contacted him when police didn't manage to get anywhere. I forgot what his name was. So it was a situation about a family that found a kid, their teenager, early college, I think, kid, just sitting in his room in bed, committed suicide, and he had a gun in his hand. So for police, open and shut case, right? But the family said, nope, not so much, because he actually, I don't know much about the guns, but apparently the Colt gun was open and it couldn't be shot through. It didn't make sense. They didn't find the empty things. So years later, they're coming to the psychic, and he's saying, well, they just look for everything, right? And he said it was something connected to drugs, and it was a younger guy. You're looking at somebody, black hair, white guy, 19 years old, and it was a setup. You're correct. And you can see that original video, and she's just shaking her head like, this has nothing to do with my kid. My kid was not a drug. He was such a nice kid, right? And never that. You can see her just completely, oh my gosh, I'm just wasting my time and money and whatnot. But the police took it seriously, and they started digging a little bit more, and guess what? They found the kid who did it. He admitted, and this is exactly what it was. He was 19 at the time. I think he was 21 when they got him. And that's what happened. So something like that over here is like that. What I see, it's one thing. Another thing can be happening is something very seen in your reading. Ten of Pentacles is that card that talks about the family and generations and transfer and how things are moving forward and what is really going forward, right? So we have a couple, young, inspiring couple, to accomplish something. We see their home, we see the elderly, we see the kids, we see the dogs, the loyalty, right? So it's kind of like a kiss the ring, kind of like a card at some point. But this card can also talk about inheritance and sort of like what you transfer as a family from one to another. There is like some kind of like possibly revival. Maybe something is coming back. But look, now with this family card, we have wife reversed. So there's like somebody who is really ticked off in a situation, right? Wife reversed can mean anything from, somebody is, unless you're the wife, maybe you are the one saying, I need to leave, but I just don't want to sacrifice the money and everything. This kind of like situation is kind of like representing for me. So it can represent divorce or separation. It can also kind of like talk about somebody who has certain responsibilities and decide just like not to do them and neglect them, right? Or somebody who is not going to be a good or faithful wife, kind of a thing, right? So just kind of like, because you're going through Mercury retrograde, and I see a little bit of that here as well, it looks like going to be something that is maybe delayed or canceled, some kind of like projects, or there will be some kind of disruption to the family, right? Also, guys, if you're, let's say, the female is saying, there is no way, this is not me, I'm not looking for a wife or something like that, right? That can also represent somebody who is a married lover or somebody who might be trying to break up the family. Maybe you have been already in a situation like that, because that's why you're getting this Eight of Cups, kind of like, this is the dude that walks away, right? He walks away here because he feels, well, I have 8 of these cups and they're all great, but I really want one more. There's like something else that is missing. Something is missing. Let me look for it. So he just goes in the middle of the night. I always like kind of wonder about this, like, card. Why would somebody embark in the middle of the night? And now in the middle of the night I go, well, not necessarily in the night, but at night with the darkness, I go out and walk tiger. So it is basically the situation that you can clear your head, like, nobody's really in your way. It's kind of like possibly easier passage, right? That's kind of like it's happening. And it's interesting that these two cards are over here. So let me see, 14, 22. Well, you have a master number. 22 is like about some kind of like accomplishments. Maybe you're feeling upset that you're not progressing as fast, as far as you would really want to go. Maybe, you know, you feel that you did lots of sacrifices. Maybe you have regrets about those sacrifices, right? And maybe it was a separation for some of you, and now are trying to go back on your footing of some sort. Maybe you just simply having some kind of like period of introspection, and so now you really have to figure out that, you know, how to overcome the challenge. Because if you kind of like start feeling melancholic or start feeling kind of like that depressed, you just simply, guys, you're a survivor, just pick up the pieces and start going again, because it's going to rebuild. You have a clear picture what you need to do. You did it once, you can do it again. So that's all you really need to know. You know, some people just, oh my gosh, I will never do that. And it's you sending the universe, oh, I'm shifting my plan from being successful to I will never do this again. Be very careful about that. So that's really important to know. All right, so I hope I still have you over here. Let's have a sip of my coffee, maybe even a little bit water. Oh, that was good. The next one is Cancer. Do we have any Cancers? I think we have the least amount of Cancers over here, right? Cancer. Let me put the timestamp here. All right, Cancers. Let's see what is in the store for you for this week. Cancers. Oh, you have Ace of Swords. You have the Emperor. Okay, I'm just checking. I don't want to be ghost experience again. And then we have like Three of Cups. And then you have Sweetheart, and then you have Waiting reversed over here. It almost sounds to me, guys, that there are people who want to be around you and you don't want them around you. You kind of like, maybe this pandemic helped you kind of like separate yourself from very important people, VIPs in your life, to non-VIPs kind of a thing, right? The Emperor almost like feels like it is you. The Ace of Swords is a karma card. So it kind of like it cuts through, and this is it. Like, I mean, you have to make some executive decisions. There's like some kind of like sense of victory. There's something going on. If you're a guy, you're cutting a woman off. They're like somebody who like looks like you have availability, and there are lots of choices that you will have, and you will be in a position to choose, and you will be in a position to be happy. It just simply feels like there is like not only one person, but there are two extra people. And yet you kind of like don't feel that either of these people who are quote unquote somehow trying to woo you, trying to be there with you, they're not necessarily people who you really want to kind of like do kind of a thing, right? So this is really kind of like interesting what I see over here. The Three of Cups is like this celebration. It's girlfriends, friends. It almost like looks like you want something, which is really good, because Chariot is your card, and Chariot is like this razor thin focus. And like most people, when they think about signs, they think about Cancer as a very sensitive, and they forget that part. Like, I mean, the crab has this like big, what do you call it? I don't know what is this called in English. Claws, arms. What is this called? And they can be really, really tough, kind of like a thing. This is really, really interesting. What do you mean, CBO music? Please explain. Oh, it's a Cancer moon. Wow, that's really interesting. Oh my gosh, I guess your energy was sent over, right? So Cancer, keep in mind, a week is going to be really, really good for you. You will know where you're heading. You will know what you want. So don't kind of like mellow it with dilute this, but okay, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. You literally are right on the right path. You're going in the direction where really you should go. So if you think that people are not there are right for you, then just simply kind of like just bow out of this whole kind of like circumstances, as you know, you completely know who is supposed to be there, how, in which function, and how do you really want your eggs done. That's all that is really, really important, right? So Kylie is saying, feel it's important, especially during this Mercury retrograde, like seeing a lot of number sequences this week. Yeah, I think because for me, usually the first shadow is the one that affects me the most. Usually my computers died, and it happened this time around as well. And oh my freaking god, like, I mean, luckily the motherboard didn't die. It was just something with those files. It was some corruption, so it was okay. But the truth is, I seen lots of numbers prior to that, lots and lots and lots, and the messages were coming. So that's really, really important. Oh, I'm so tired of people. Well, what do you mean? Like, we don't see that many people, and when we see them, they're like in masks. So it's just like not much to be really be tired. I just kind of like stupidity is really interesting. I was watching last week, what was this called? Magic Made for Humans or something like that. It was really interesting and kind of like really shows that people they know it's magic, and they're still kind of like trying to figure it out instead of just accepting it as an illusion. That kind of like to me was really interesting point that was made over there. But hell, it is hilarious, guys. If you really want to watch and laugh, it's pretty cool. So we have Virgo, your ruler is Mercury. So let's see what is this week having in store for you. Let's say Virgo. Well, CBO music, where are you? In Alberta somewhere right now, right? Like, I mean, it is just exhausting, I know. And people don't have patience. I saw a few days ago a woman in the store yelling at an old lady. She was like old, shriveled old lady. And it was, right? And I know, like, these old people are confused. I know it's kind of like counting pennies, but this is their existence. That's what they. So she was yelling at her, "You don't have your mask over the nose. You're killing me, you old." What did she call her? Not old fart. Dinosaur, and bitch, and c word, and then she just walked away. It's just like freaking amazing. And I bet that woman who did this yelling is a major loser, kind of like doing this. Oh, something flicked over here, Virgo. And the Emperor is here. It's easy to see in this albino weight. Oh, you're in Ontario as well. But you're not in Toronto, right? So somehow I'm remembering that you're not exactly here. So Ontario is becoming really difficult. I was really considering, and I'm still considering, moving to New Brunswick, where kind of like you get a little bit more, way more for your money, but it's also certain things are more expensive, so I'm kind of debating it. So now you have the Knight of Wands, and I'm not so sure this is up and down. We're going to see the Gypsy card, what it tells us, Page of Pentacles. So it does tell me that you are trying to exert control. The Emperor is here. Okay, guys, if you were in love with the card Emperor, and tarot readers were always saying, well, now you're in charge, you're in control, everything is like, I was always saying, no. When the card shows up, it's telling you need to somehow get a grasp. You need to get a grip. You need to get a control, because 2020 was the year of the Emperor. How much that sucked, huh? It was pretty kind of like bad going on, kind of like making us shake up, wake up, and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's see. Imagine this poor woman in the store. Like, I mean, first of all, it's tough to be old. Whoever said that golden age is the best age, they have to be shut down. Honestly, the older I get, the more aches I get, the more things, the recovery is slower. It's just like, what is so much fun about it? I just really want to go back to the early 20s. Like, Jesus. It was like just amazing. So Virgo, one more thing. Oh, wife. If you guys are married, Virgo, if you're in a relationship, then kind of like you might have some issues with kids, especially if the kids are, let's say, teenagers, a little bit kind of like on the older side. If you have 2 boys, one will act up, another one will really like, you have, looks like one boy who is like very much into doing their homework, and kind of like almost like somebody who might aspire to be an accountant of some sort, and this seems to be your quote unquote star child. And hence the other one, whose hormones are kicking in, and now he's willing to rebel. He's driving you freaking nuts. And maybe this is you trying to kind of like exert control over that situation, right? Maybe it's kind of like you having this motherly instincts kicking in, right? Keep in mind this like wife card, it's not necessarily, even though she's shown here with a child here as well, it's almost like some kind of like note here if you really look at it. And she also looks very kind, and she really looks really relaxed, right? So the child is really well cared for. And interestingly enough, and I've noticed this, and I don't know what is this on a table over here, almost looks like Aries kind of like thing, but she wears a rose here that I didn't notice. So she's loved. Maybe there is a need for some kind of like tough love over here in this kind of like period, but this is kind of like about, it's kind of like masculine and feminine principle. It's almost like, it doesn't have to be that's actual husband and wife, but it could be that, let's say you have a mixed family, that you have to get on the same page with that other person about, let's say, the kids, if you wish. But if this is not let's say the situation of a marriage, that maybe you kind of like want to be you might have people that you're dating, and you might have also several options, and it could be like really a whole bunch from people who are like really established, and to some extent you're going to say, okay, what do I have to bring to this table in this situation? I'm loving, I'm caring for the people I love. And so that can be the traditional kind of like combination, if you wish, the old-fashioned one, right? He chops wood, you kind of like bring the kids up. But then there are like two other possibilities. This Knight of Wands is like the one who just comes and goes. And this guy is like a COVID risk. This is like the guy next door to me. Oh my freaking God. These women coming in and out of his unit. This is amazing. His sex drive is like through the freaking roof. And like he's not wearing a mask. These women are not wearing masks. And they all come and almost like a zombie. Oh, I'm here. It's just like freaking amazing. But that kind of like would be that guy. Don't expect any staying power there. It could be fun while it lasts. Sex could be good, but this is it. Or this one who might not even ask for anything. It's just like it's somebody who wants to talk. It's somebody who's moving slow. It's usually when we have these questions, is this guy really into me? But this guy's not into anybody, not even in themselves. So kind of like it's going to be lots of things over here. Be careful. It almost looks like you want to choose them all. And that's what most people don't know about Virgos. Like, I mean, they're always presented like this angelic thing. Holy smoke. They're like far from angelic. They're like really sex goddesses. And this can also talk about some kind of like sexual expression. Maybe you guys, sorry to say this, to be blunt, maybe you didn't get laid in a while and you're saying, you know what, I'm just getting laid. I just need to do that. That kind of like can be seen here as well. So just to kind of like make it light out of the situation. So Virgo, choose carefully. You will have choices from good, bad, and ugly kind of a thing in the situation. So let's see. Our world is infected with hate, but you know, I don't think love is the opposite of hate. I think peace is opposite of hate. So the more we become peaceful, the more we become non-reactive, the more that like so I'm finally figuring it out, like freaking almost like 47, right? Finally figuring it out. It's not the love. You don't have to force yourself into that. Just peace. You start looking at people who are crazies as just crazies. Just like walk away, and eventually they have to kind of like relax, right, and do that. And Virgo, of course, I didn't put the stamp over here, so I'm going to put here with question marks so Barbie knows. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5, so we have one more Virgo. No kidding. So I guess Chris, tell us like you had some experiences over there, right? Who is next? The next is Gemini. You guys, Virgo and Gemini, looks like Mercury Retrograde is now coming out, and these are the signs that will be affected the most. This is your ruler. Okay. And interestingly enough, this to me always speaks Virgo. So unless you're talking to Virgo, this could mean that. And this one. So you have, you, my gosh, you're going to feel like suffering this particular week. Check this out. 9 and 3, or maybe not. 9 and 3, oh no, 9 and 3 is 12, 14. No, 14. That's okay. 14 means that you, I thought it was 13, but it isn't. So there's almost like a sense of you need to organize, you need to reorganize, you want to kind of put things together. You're kind of like really torn, and that's kind of like what this shows here in the end. You kind of like on one hand you just want to be on your own, but and this is like those two twins, they're looking in the two opposite directions. So one wants one thing, second one wants another thing. The whole point is like coordination, collaboration, otherwise this whole kind of like problems happen. So you do think you're very intuitive, but you are not going to be intuitive this week. So you will literally have to go with what you see on the surface, right? You will not able to kind of like go and read through this additional kind of like masks that people do. Like, we all wear masks. And like, like you can see from the politicians, oh, everything is good, I promise this and this and this. Yeah, sure. And I have a bridge to sell you, right? But when you have your intuitive powers, you can just like pick up through these layers. You can see this like light bulb flashing over their heads, like liar, liar, liar kind of a thing, right? So even when you mute the television down, you can still be able to pick up that stuff. You won't be able to do that. But it looks like this week you're really torn in between trying to get together with people, and that's especially for the extroverts, right? Oh, that's what I see it here. You're saying, I need anything. I just need any sense of normalcy. I just need anything, even if it's bad. So be careful, because the High Priestess reversed also says sometimes you get yourself into situations that is your own doing, right? Because she simply just sits between these two pillars. Of course, they're called BJ appropriately, right? But when she reverses it, she still notices that you're doing stuff. It's just she's not letting you through. So which means, quote unquote, your actions are kind of like being monitored. Just think about you're going through some kind of like photo radar and kind of like how you do that. So it's that undecisiveness and fickleness. Well, hello, you're Gemini to start with. It's kind of like uncertainty with lovers if you really wish, right? But it could also be that you kind of like yourself, you kind of like through this Mercury retrograde shifts you back and makes you kind of like fix things, that you kind of like get to this point and say, hey, you know what, maybe there is like the end of some kind of like superficiality or irresponsible behavior, right? And it simply also could mean that is the end of being carefree, that you need to roll up your sleeves and kind of like move forward, right? So keep in mind, guys, that some people might approach you and tell you that you are unreliable, that you are distrustful, or that they cannot trust you. They can accuse you of infidelity or disloyalty, because that was like something based on the past. I kind of like had that happen to me many times in my life. For example, when I was dating, I'm always jealous of my Saturdays. That's the only night that I had that I could sleep in the next day and freaking do nothing. I could stay up to 4 o'clock in the morning. And like from the whole week, you're working Monday to Friday. Like, if I would date on Saturday and then somebody stays over, then I would never have time for myself, right? And even though I'm an extrovert, it was always a problem. So I would actually book Saturday for me, and I would date on Sunday. And it was always, who are you seeing? What are you doing? So just kind of like be prepared for it. And it's going to be really interesting, because you will think you can grasp the situation and answer it intellectually, but the answer will have to address somebody's emotions, and that's going to be the key. So it's going to be a little bit of a tricky week. I'm not going to kind of like lie to you about that, but I think you're going to end up really well with kind of like this thing. So, Kat, what are you getting yourself for birthday? I do have a tradition of buying myself a birthday present, and I already did buy something, two things for me, and I think this is it, because I'm not supposed to be spending. I really have to roll up my sleeves and start rebuilding my business. I got myself a gold Aquarius chain and pendant, and I got myself a rug, so kind of like redecorating my little room. And it is, what is it, 9 by 7 with I don't know, like, do I have a pictures here? Let me see if I have pictures here. I'll show you. It was just a little bit kind of like of this kind of like tribal rugs that are kind of like really popular these days. Let me see if I can find this. I took a picture of it because it's still rolled up in my room. I am not opening because I had a white cream rug in my living room. I still have it, but it's now gray because of Mr. Tiger, if you wish, and it's kind of a problem. Nope, it's not on the phone. So it's kind of like really nice, and it was $700 wool rug on Wayfair, and I found somebody who was selling it new, because they actually, like people do in Canada, we are really messed up with dimensions, because sometimes people use imperial units like Americans, and sometimes we use SI units like Europeans, right? So this guy was one of those cases, and he got himself a rug that is simply not good enough for his room. He thought he could make it work, and he didn't in the end, right? So yeah, it's a wool rug. It's $7.50 plus tax on Wayfair, and I don't know. Let me grab my laptop. I'll show you the rug. And guess what? And I was watching this rug on Wayfair. I was waiting to get some kind of discount. How they sometimes send you the discount, and nothing was happening until this guy showed up. So guess what? Guess to how much I bargained him down. I kind of like knew that some people need to. I just want to show you a carpet. Okay, so these are his pictures, which are not the greatest. I don't know if you can see it. So this is from above. It has like, what is this word? Sequins, the kind of like shiny things, right? And here again, it's blurry here, but here you can see it better, I guess. You see how it kind of like looks? And then I think the last one is a close-up, right? So that's kind of like what it is. It's some kind of like whitish, kind of like gray kind of a thing. So I got it for $130, and yay, so now it's rolled up. It's just kind of waiting. So that was kind of like my present to me. So kind of like it's going to be a new refreshing room. So your rug is called Antique Wool Rug from Moldabella. It's accompanied by direct via Amazon. Yeah, you know, like, I mean, it's going to be difficult with Roomba. I don't know how it's going to go over it, and with Tiger, but I'll figure it out. Kind of like cleaning is probably going to be a living hell, but once in a life you have to kind of like do something impractical as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Am I just on a 5? What was this? Gemini. And of course I didn't put a stamp, so we are going to put here something like this. I think we are now to angel cards, and angel cards are for everybody. And then we are going to do doors, or do we do the doors first? Barbie, you are the boss on this one, so do we do the doors first, or do we do, I don't know, with the sequins I thought I'm going to maybe take them out. I'm not completely sold on it, because yes, exactly, they might start to eat it, and I'm not so sure this is going to be my look. I do kind of like, I like, my design style is lots of color or not color at all. I sort of like, I'm not kind of like in between person. So when I don't do lots of color, then sequins would work, because then I just use gold or black accent in it. So they're like attached really well. This is a really high quality rug, and it's kind of hand woven, so it's really strong kind of a thing. So cleaning rugs, oh, that's your business. Oh my gosh, I didn't know. Shit, I cannot send it to California. I usually just put it in a dry way, and I just like pour the water on it. Oh my gosh, you would be so freaking handy. I didn't actually ever ask you what you do. That's freaking amazing business. And the better the rug that is, you know, I should probably, if I knew that, I would send you pictures and say, hey, what do you say on this? So I'll still probably do that. Barbie said we are going to do the doors first. Okay. So I don't know. I'm going to use the same deck here for doors and for the mods questions later. Okay, so let's see. Oh yeah, my mouse died too. To add to things that actually have to do. So okay, let me hide this. Guys, think of a question. Think of a question. Think of a question. Door number 1, door number 2, and door number 3. Okay. You, Barbie, need to tell me after this if you really want me to do the mod cards now or later, because I'm going to do a mini reading, 1 card reading, so I have to figure it out. Is it better now, or do people need to wait another 30-40 minutes? So I'm going to leave a decision to you, and everybody else can plead with you, and kind of like, you know, democracy kind of a thing. So Yoga, look at this, Chris. You're getting business. How to clean Oriental rugs. They're wool and silk from the Middle East. Well, the kitties might be fine. They might paw them. Well, depends exactly, right? Working baker selling wool rugs is the really, you're selling rugs are just like, it's just like so amazing. It just contributes to the home so much. That's why it is. You do what you want, sweetie. Look at this. This is Libra. You just figure it out. So maybe I'm going to do the reading now, so you kind of like have these things, and then making later we can kind of like clarify it. So the door number 1 over here, you're getting Knight of Pentacles. That is a yes answer to start with. This really talks about maybe you're relying upon friendship of some sort, right? Maybe you are, and I'll show you my pendant too. Like, I mean, when I do this. Maybe this is kind of like simply kind of like somebody's appearing who is going to be your rock in something. Clearly there's something that's going forward, but is going slower than maybe you anticipate, so just keep this in mind. Right now, Page of Swords reversed. It can talk about some kind of argument. Door number 2, center door. Oh my God, I don't like Page of Swords reversed. This is somebody who is right in your face. This is like just like this woman who was yelling at this old lady in the store. There's no rhyme or reason for this behavior. So I would say the answer is no, because it's just going to, situation is going to just get too prickly and too kind of like difficult, kind of like things going on. And then door number 3, nope. Your hands are tight. Something is not going, something is upsetting you. And I really have to tell you here that also there are lots of issues in your own head that you think that the solution depends on somebody else, where you can actually take charge and make it. Sometimes, like, I mean, we have limited options that we can do, but sometimes, like, right, they actually really work out. All right, so let me just show you the little pendant that I got on Amazon. I put it on a crystal to kind of like charge it with a very good energy. So this is my gold necklace over here. I don't know if you can see it here. It's the little aquarium kind of like a thing. So usually I used to buy myself new wallet every year, and now I have the same wallet for 3 years, and I'm having that pendant on the rug, but it's going to work. So I hopefully you guys picked door number 1, so we'll see. I buy my mother a present too, ever since I was so getting presents in my birthday, so I just continue. That's cute. All right, so now we are going to do the mods. No, we are going to do the angel cards for everybody. And let me just shuffle it, and then I'll go exactly in order of appearance, whether you're a mod or not. And if you're not a mod, guys, and you're listening on this conversation, you have literally seconds to say hi. So you get your own card as well. So Knitting Yogi was first. Knitting Yogi, let me just get a sip of my coffee. Power. Look at that. Is there some kind of like religion? Is there like something? Or you are like yielding your own thing and saying, that's it. I just feel strong. I just like know where I'm heading. So that's really interesting. Then Kylie is the next. Kylie. Patience. Hail Kylie, you're Sagittarius. Patience is not your suit, just like it's not mine. So there's like something that is now already in work. She's kind of like knitting it over here. And there's like something that is in a process, but kind of like still will take some time, right? Barbie lady. Oh, Barbie, you didn't send me the form, remember? Compassion. You need support of the others. You need that nurturing. You need a hug. Barbie needs a hug. Guys, everybody gives Barbie a hug. Then, who is next here? Cat Tarot. Okay, let's see what is for Cat Tarot. For me, adventure. Yay, I'm going to break a freaking leg. No, I'm not going to. Who is next? Lynn Westbrook. Lynn. Resilience. Oh, I like the little trampoline. It's just kind of like keep at it and don't allow people to take you down. It's very, very important. Then Joanne Domingo. You have vision. It says soul, sight, and future. So you're going to start having that opening, which something is going to be clear to you, and you will start going in that direction. So that's really, really important, right? Then we have Jennifer Richardson. If you're still there, you have balance. Just make sure that nothing is in excess, and if you're lacking something, try to build it up, right? Charter. Efficiency. Why is she under the table? What is this laundry over here? And she's saying, that's it. Everybody just kind of like leave me alone, kind of sipping on some kind of soup. You're just simply going to figure out what must be done right now. It's just for a week and kind of like focus on that. So that's going to be very, very non-romantic kind of thing. Hello, Lorna H. And we have expectancy for you. Lorna, what sign are you? Are you expecting the birthday gifts, or there's like some kind of arrival or some kind of news? Something is really, really going on over there. And was this all from the people who stopped by? Oh, we have CBO music. And we have responsibility. Oh my gosh, this card is like Two of Wands. Kind of like, what do I want to do? And it looks like you're taking other people as well. Like, this is really, really good thing. Like, you're taking opinions of the other people and you're building up upon it. So you're kind of like propping yourself up in a very kind of like organic and positive way. And that's really, really important over here. Let's see. I did that. Or just a few people are talking. Anybody else over here? Just scrolling down. If I missed anybody, please raise your hand, say something, because so far I think I covered quite a bit of you. Just scrolling just to make sure. Barbie. To the end. Oh, Creative Guru. I didn't do you. That's right, because you came. Creative Guru. Do me. Of course. Compassion as well. Oh, you need a hug too? And there's like something that you need a strength, and I guess maybe you're missing a human touch. You are really missing the connection of some sort. So I really feel oh my gosh, I'm missing massages, and this is also human touch of a sort. So there is like this sense. It could be also religious service that can really, really help you. So there you go. So now the next one is the special segment. It's kind of like one card for each mod, so pretty much most of you over here. So how do you become a mod, guys? You're here every Saturday and you're positive, you welcome people who are coming, you allow help Barbie to do her job as well. If you have intruders, which is rarely, you just zap them, and you get those tools when you become a moderator. So this one's needing yogi. Oh my gosh, you're getting the star. There's like some sense of hopefulness. There's like some sense of raising above the issues, getting things down, but also at the same time, you just don't want any fakery, and you just simply want to be clean and clear. There is like about nourishment. You have to make sure you eat well, you sleep enough of the time, and things will happen. There is like certain, like to me, the most positive card in the deck, because if you don't have hope, you have nothing. It's just like all basically lost, right? Then we have a Kylie. Kylie, your name and like your whole aura about you always reminds me of Kylie Minogue. Oh my gosh, it's just always present there. It just like never went away. I know like it was the same name, but like it just stuck around. So Kylie, the jumper here is like 6 of Cups. Is going to be something Mercury retrograde. Either you'll be thinking about somebody from the past, or meeting somebody from the past, contacting somebody from the past, or vice versa. This is always a card of things that have happened and connection, and it's kind of like reminiscing about things, kind of like what has happened in a sense, right? Barbie. Ooh, Barbie is the law. She's getting the Hierophant. She's kind of like putting her foot down. This is what I like. And you're not going with some kind of like a fluke ideas. You're going with tried and true. You're going to say, look, these are the things how worked for thousands of years. I am not kind of like changing the routine over here. I just want this. That's kind of like very important to you. This is also the card of marriage, just to let you know, of some sort. It's a card of feeling stability, but it's also a card of feeling very spiritual of some sort. So that's really, really important over here as well. And Chris, you need to tell me, how do I clean this sequence? So how difficult is this going to be for cleaning, I guess. Then Chris is next. Chris. Yes, Chris knows my real name, Bianca. So we have the 4 of Pentacles reversed and the star. So this means taking some walls down. There was like some progress of some sort that got stunted, because look at him, he has the wall really showing it's mine. What's the point? You're having all this money. It's kind of like usually when we realize that the experiences, you know how some people buy objects like my carpet, but some people buy experiences, like the people travel and spend all the money on it. So to me, this is kind of like more going in that domain, kind of like going in that directive. And then you have the star. This could be Aquarius in your life, or could be exactly that you're realizing you're getting better, you are healing, you're kind of like progressing further, you're getting some hopes and new ideas, and things are actually moving forward kind of like in a good direction. Then I think I have 2 more, right? I have CBO music. Ooh, that jumped out. Queen of Pentacles. This is like, you know, feeling comfort as a wife, feeling comfort as a woman. You're going to treat yourself kind of like well with something, whether this is jewelry or good food. This queen, I actually very much identify with this Queen of Pentacles, is very resourceful. Like she will probably take, you know, like just like my freaking carpet. I'm not going to spend 750 plus tax. We have a 13% tax in Ontario, so that's well over $800, right? Where you don't know where the next dollar is coming from in this recession. But she's going to look for this kind of stuff. Where can I get it on a discount? How can I do this, right? And so she kind of like makes her place looks very full and rich and comfortable and cozy with very little like kind of like money, but just because she applies her own talent in decorating and resourcing. So you will be possibly kind of like creating something like that, or feeling really comfort in who you are. This is a very, very strong card that really is coming through. So, and that was CBO music, and I think we have Creative Guru last, right? Because she jumped us later. Oh, I have Lorna H as well. Creative Guru. Creative Guru. Ooh, you're getting Temperance reversed. Something is not gelling. Something is not gluing over here. To me, it's really interesting that aura that he's glowing, it's much stronger than whatever this is. That's either volcano or the sun in the background. It's really weird. In this deck, he's almost like the star card. He has one foot in the water, except the star card, she walks on water, which is the difference. And one thing is here, it's always like mixing two elements. So he is a human mixed with a bird, so hence he's an angel, because he has to lift himself up. I mean, Temperance represents Sagittarius, who is like a half horse, half man, but this is reversed. So that if you're hoping that something's going to work out with someone who is actually oddly different than you, then things might not really work out, or things are going to start to unglue. But this is good, because you really need to see, you need to see that. You need to kind of like realize it with your own eyes, that certain things are simply just not possible at this time. And let's see, Lorna H, Lorna H, Lorna H, and which one? I think this one. Ooh. Lorna H, what happened? Did you feel that somebody betrayed you, or something happened in your life that you felt everybody's like on your case, everybody's like kind of like trying to kind of like work certain things? But I was not completely sure on this card that I pulled, so I'll take one more. It's almost like that you fighting for something or for somebody, it's almost like futile. It's just like you need to let go. And this is not that horrible, because here somebody just backstabbed you, here somebody just betrayed you, and they came because they are so cowardly, they just cannot even do it in your face. But the whole point is like that you were either arguing the point or fighting for something that it just doesn't make any sense either. It's like you were square peg in the wrong hole. It just doesn't work. So you have to withdraw yourself from the circumstances that are not ideal circumstances for you. And like sometimes we say, we'll fight, I'll persist, never mind, don't fight, don't persist, this is the end of the story, right? 9 of Wands, move in a different direction, kind of like don't fight for certain things. So this is kind of like telling you, almost like the message is like, don't waste your effing time, kind of a thing, right? So just keep this in mind. And did I do everybody? Guys, did I miss anybody? Just please lift your arm, lift your hand if I have. I just think that I covered all the mods over here. Tell me if it is. I believe Kylie means beautiful soul or spirit. Oh my gosh, that's really, really cute. Okay. CB Music, renovating your new house. Oh, that's nice. Awesome. That's perfect. That was just perfect. You see, I just like scrolling it down. Chris is driving here as well. Now, part 2. Let's go. Part 2. Ooh, no one jumped. And who wants to be read first is Leo. Leo is numero uno in part number 2. So let's put a stamp over here. Okay. Leo. Let's see. You're welcome, Jennifer. Oh, look at you. You guys are like Queen of Icons. We have the Magician here reversed. Leo. Leo. We have Three of Cups. This card is coming through quite often, right? We had it like 3 or 4 times so far. And we had 6 signs done. And you have the Moon reversed. Whoa. Leo. The Magician. Oh, let's just grab one of these cards as well. The Magician is as above, so below. And, you know, I was telling in the introduction for this reading of a friend how this really works, because you can see him here demanding that the God's powers is brought here on the planet, and he's using the magic to kind of like do that. But when he's reversed, it's always talking about a person who is trying to jump you who is like I use used car salesmen, and people say, how can you do that? They're honorable. You know what I'm talking about, the stereotype that people will tell anything just to sell the car and to do that. So somebody is underhanded over here. That's the whole point over here. And I don't think this is you, so be very careful. And I think you will be careful, because you seem to be enamored of some sort. You're getting a letter over here. There is like some kind of celebration, either family or friends. The card shows 3 women there, and to me this is the ultimate Aquarius card, which doesn't mean much right now because we are going through the Aquarius transition, so it simply can signify that, right? But it tells me there is like a gathering of some sort. There's kind of joyfulness of some sort, right? The moon reversed, you see, these are the 2 towers that I was talking about. When you die, pearly gates, whatever different religions are calling them, right? We are talking about coyote and the dog, conscious and subconscious, and both of them are having a wrong idea about these things, because it's neither nor, and hence we have this little lobster who is the only kind of like figuring out the path it has to go and how do you get there, right? I also loved the rendition of both sun and the moon. And we are during the full moon in Leo, guys. I was born during the full moon in Leo, which means you kind of like have full moon if you have the sign opposite to your sign in moon sign. So when the moon reverses, it's really talking about you are not living in illusion anymore. Things are getting clear. The light is coming. You're kind of like seeing things that are really, really happening. I really think it's going to be lots of communications for you this week between friends and lovers, or spouses and relatives of some sort. You might have, I don't know, exams if you're in school, because magician could be somebody who has the things under the table trying to kind of like put all this kind of like information that you still need to have, right? Clearly I can talk about the text of some sort in a combination, which is clearly often some kind of emotion, which is interesting. This is clearly belonging to the Pisces, and this is belonging to Mercury, right? So this is, Mercury belongs to either Virgo or to Gemini, if you really kind of like want to go that far, right? And the moon in astrology belongs to Cancer. So, but I more or less saw this as air and water. So it's going to be either the kind of like struggle between your head and between your heart. But clearly, guys, there are going to be some kind of new opportunities over here. You're feeling very joyful about the situation, and you know, like, I mean, I don't know, it might also be that it's going to be a protest of some sort, that you're going to stand up for yourself. There's like also maybe you're going to request a meeting or express a feeling of some sort, right? It's kind of like interesting that I got this letter card, because this is clarifying that you are going to be very vocal about your decision of some sort, and like about your demands, right? So we don't know what kind of content you have from this communication over here, but we do know that kind of like it's going to leave some kind of like impact as well. This can also talk about psychology. So you might have a therapy session of some sort. Maybe you're dealing with a fallout in your own head, and that can happen years later. Like, I mean, look at how much injury our parents do to us when we are kids, and we are still playing the same thing, like, I mean, years later, right? So that could be sort of like releasing of some sort, or maybe simply writing a letter, which is a really good psychology lesson, especially during the full moon today. Guys, do the ritual. I do have a full moon meditation, I believe, that you can access, and so with this full meditation, I always say, people, you have to try to be as positive as possible to kind of like set this wishes. So don't say, I don't want this. Okay, when you ask negative, this is like saying, do not imagine a pink elephant. Of course, the first thing you think of is the pink elephant. So rather to say, I want the following things to recede or to vanish. and then just list things. So that way you're not forming it negative, yet you're still doing this full moon ritual. And then do the list. Then the nightfall comes, and you just go out, light it up, burn it. It's done, and just rinse and repeat every full moon until it's freaking over. That's kind of like all that's needed to be done, right? So that's something kind of like taking in account, Leos. And if somebody wants to control you, you will so see it. You will so see it. You will call them on that, or kind of like just simply laugh about it, and that's going to be very, very important, right? So Sun conjunct Jupiter yesterday was superb, right? Opposite full moon. Last happened in 62. Ooh, that's maybe for me. But Sun conjunct Jupiter, that's really good because the Sun is our ego and Jupiter is luck. So certain things happen. God damn, I didn't play the lottery. That's what it is. All right, so who is next? This was Leo, and I put a stamp. Good. I'm just checking the stamps. 3 things at the same time. Let's see the next one. Speaking of the Six of Cups. Oh, are you going to sell us crypto? Why don't we get some and then we can decide if this is the good thing. I bought some Bitcoins and I have no idea where they are. I think I have lost the banking transition, so that bothers me. You just don't have one place to go, and that's kind of like what stops me of doing it, right? Aries. Didn't the Bitcoin have the big loss last week? So don't know about that. Oh, look at that. It was turning. Did you see that? Or it was off camera. It went like this. It was falling down, and then the last moment went up like that. That really tells me there's going to be some turnaround. Maybe somebody's turncoat over here. Ooh, you have the World. You have 2 of Cups, the World reversed, the Ace of Cups, and these 2 cards also wanted to come out. You have a King of Pentacles and King of Swords. Well, if you're a woman, oh la la. Over here, the World card is not good. It's a karma card. So let's start with bad news. This card is also dominating this entire reading. So this is really interesting. It looks to me that on the surface, you feel that you're in a good position, right? You feel that kind of like, so you have a Leo around here, and I'm one Aries that I know very well is my brother, who is married to Leo, who has sister who is Aquarius, who has mother who is Scorpio, right? And Taurus. Father over here as well, right? So that would be complete application. It would be kind of like complete neglect. The World card is sort of like also connecting with ancestry and with all the spirit guys that come. Most of them come from your blood ancestry, right? Because they kind of weave themselves into your life one way or another throughout, like your life. So when this happens, you're cutting those ties. You're cutting those ties in the name of relationships. And we know it many times throughout the history. Romeo and Juliet, you're trying to marry in a family that you don't belong to, and that sort of things. But look at how well is really working for Aries this week. On the surface, there is like Ace of Cups and 2 of Cups. You feel romantic. You feel things are moving forward. If you're female, there are lots of options. There's a King of Pentacles, a King of Swords. Very different attitudes. King of Swords could be kind of a quiet, silent type who gives lots of advice. And King of Pentacles is the one who has money. So now you have 2 people in front of you. One is giving you money and one is giving you advice. But what if advice is, if you go in this path, if you take this money, you're not going to live your destiny. But if you go this path, you're going to have 10 times more. So in psychology, there is a concept of delayed gratification. And that's actually the only thing that is a predictor of the future success. They did studies, and they did studies that lasted for decades. They gave kids either immediate candy or a bigger chocolate if they can wait. I don't know for how long. I don't remember. Was it a day or a week? Very few kids chose delayed gratification because they could get something right away. However, decades later, sure enough, all of these kids who had actually managed to delay something kind of like did reap the rewards and became more successful, which goes without saying, right? Like, I mean, it's between playing with the friends and partying and sitting at home and studying, which it's not going to pay now, it's going to pay later. That kind of makes sense. So there's like a decision between the two things. But if you flip the coin, this money that you get right now can be invested, and therefore you don't have to work your destiny this hard. So you can see both of them have their own kind of like advantages. But let's see why the World card is here. What is really happening over here? Ooh, sorrow. So the sorrow card is anticipation of some sort, right? She's waiting there. I'm wondering if this is Belvedere, when she's kind of like looking, and she's looking in the wrong direction of some sort. So maybe you have the layer in you that you are not looking. You know how you, as Aries people, you always manage to kind of like move forward because you're sign number 1. You take down the doors no matter what, like sheer force of knocking things down, right? But even though you're kind of like always that perpetual motion moving forward, right? You are still human. You're still accumulate experiences of some sort, right? So they're like really talking about some grief. And even though you are maybe kind of like recalling happiness that maybe you don't have. Maybe this is a judge, and maybe this is a husband. Maybe it's kind of like a feeling that somebody else has an upper hand, if you wish. Clearly, like you're like recuperating or recovering of some sort. It could be a loss. It could be, pretty much, something that happens out of the blue. And I guess this is connecting to Mercury Retrograde for you, because the past issues are coming back in the surface, right? So now this is really interesting because with these 2 kings that are sitting very, very strong. It could have been also third part kind of like things over here that has happened. It generally is not Aries who likes this kind of like combinations, but this is not to say that you don't find yourself in one when other people are dishonest of some sort, right? So keep in mind that there could be obstacles over here, and it's really important to know what is the cause of this distress. For you, it's clearly going to be some kind of like emotional attitude or emotional approach, right? So only thing I have to say is that you have to, like, King of Swords is somebody who is actually very unemotional, but who can provide you a great deal of advice. So you need to listen in this case, I think both of them, because everything is kind of like residing on kind of like those things. So you'll be looking in the money, you'll be looking in the direction, and you might get a little bit messed up. So just be careful, because as things appear on the surface, they're not necessarily as simple as they are. So certain things will need to be what happens. Well, glad to see, guys, that you know what this means. Let's see what else. Needing Yogi said, back to the star card for Virgo. I got accepted. Oh, yay, for trauma yoga program that I wanted to take for September. September. Freudian sleep. Serpentember. So it's something that, yeah, exactly. Something from the past is coming, and it's a healing. This is really good. And I really wish more people do that, because we have to stop being lazy. We have to stop sitting at home, and I just had to take a pill and everything will work out. I listened, rather to say, a book. Like, I'm trying to read or listen 1 book a week at the very least. So last week was, oh my gosh, what was the name of this book? I don't like fiction because I just like to learn something from a book. So this one was called, it's Tom or Tim. Here, I have it on my Audible. Why am I, like, I receive so much information and I cannot really think about the smallest things. Library. It was called Spoon-Fed, and the author is Tim Spector. And it was simply, he's a doctor, and he was talking about oh my gosh, he's like on the edge of the modern kind of like development. He was talking about how basically process the food and what is really important to look when we kind of like take our nutrition and diet, and what diets make sense, what diets, but this is not about diet for weight loss. This is simply kind of like what we need to eat and feed, and what's a nonsense, and kind of like what is nonsense made by marketing, such as don't eat salt, then you have to eat for two. Oh my freaking god, it was just really, really amazing. And I watched quite a bit of his YouTube. You can check it out. It's really, really interesting, right? So yeah, it's kind of like really, really good book. He's really talking about it. I really loved when he had experiment when he was eating. He's basically on the research of the microbiome. I don't know how much you know about it. This is the new organ, gut microbiome, that was recently developed or quote unquote established as an organ. And they're saying this is pretty much the boss in the body. And they knew it in the old times that all diseases come from the gut, but we kind of like did kind of like have these compartments. Now this is it. So now it's coming back to that these microbiomes are really kind of like regulating how quickly we heal, what kind of diseases we will have. They can even determine when we will die. It's freaking amazing. And that's why sometimes you heard about fecal therapy, when they literally insert fecal matter from somebody else younger to kind of like recover you, and you kind of like start getting recovered. So he was talking kind of like what kind of food to eat in order to kind of like create this microbiome kind of like environment that is going to be very, very positive. I'm also kind of like ordered some probiotics from the US. They're really expensive because the shipping is ridiculously expensive, but oh my gosh, these are the best probiotics and prebiotics that they have. And if you take the probiotics and prebiotics together, then you're like kind of delivering something that's called microbiome therapy. And I usually do it before sleep when my stomach is empty, and then it has a piece to kind of like really deal with. So that's really interesting. So actually coffee he's recommending very highly. He said this is like one of the really, really good things that you can do for yourself. It's a complete nonsense. What do you mean, like the probiotic and prebiotic? I think it's called Ascended Health company. They're liquid. I think if I remember it was $35 each US. Ascended Health. So active detox probiotic and proactive probiotic, right? So this kind of like does this in the combination. Literally, it kind of like puts the good stuff in your thing. So live, they're all live, which is usually very expensive to do it. It says this breakthrough product is specifically formulated with special strains of the microbes, chelators, and trace minerals known to help the body break down toxins and support liver and kidney detoxification, right? So this is a little bit more of a medical thing. So yeah, I highly recommend this. This is like when I was in my shamanic course. I think the guy is kind of connected possibly with this company. I don't know, maybe has investment. So he suggested this, and I bought it as a part of, we need to do this cleanse and stuff 3 times a year. And I bought it, and oh my gosh. And then I remember that I still had it in my fridge when I was reading this book, and then I started using it because it's kind of difficult. He said most of this prebiotic you put in dies because acidity is so high in the stomach. So you need to have live culture and really, really good quality. And that's right, the puffiness disappeared immediately with that. And puffiness, you can make it go with lots of water. So you take it also at night, right? Was just tired and went to bed. I finally took them with magnesium. And also, I think, is it him or is it Dr. Gundry? It was the book before that I talk about a lectin-free diet, which also makes lots of sense. And yeah, he was really talking about kind of like how to take it and what really, really works. All right, so I've gone off the taste of coffee. I drink decaf because regular coffee really messes me up with too much caffeine, but I really love my coffee. Sagis, you're next. Sagittarians, Let's do that and put a stamp over here. Oh, we're almost like 2 hours together. It's like a breeze. Oh my gosh, last time was just a freaking nightmare. Okay, Sagittarians. Let's see. Sagittarians. Ooh, that flicked. The Magician. That's the opposite of you. That can even be you. Okay. Oh, this one wants to come out. 2 of Pentacles. Did something else flick? Yeah, more Sages over here. And the Lovers. This is really weird because Mercury, Gemini is your opposite sign, right? So who is the famous Sagittarius Gemini? We had Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. So you could see the differences, right? The Magician reversed, again, is Mercury, which represents Virgo or Gemini as well. And here we see this kind of like juggle in between. Are you kind of like really indecisive over somebody, or you feel that somebody's pulling wool over your eyes? But it looks to me you are not one of those people who will say it's kind of like this is the way it should be. You're kind of trying to turn this person around. And look, you have the Lover reverse, which I think it definitely relates to the Magician. And then you have Widower. Are you maybe, guys, leaving a situation that is just not something that is doable and workable? This has been long time brewing in your spreads, right? Oh, by the way, guys, tell me, like, I mean, I did the reading, which was just a Celtic cross, and I wonder if that was simple universe saying we need to scrap it, you need to do it over, and I'm wondering if you have any suggestions for what you like in the readings. Just don't tell me that you want every reading 3 hours. It's not going to happen. I just have so much energy. So, Sagis, something is upside down. That is clear. Something is going in a good direction, but it's not necessarily that you're emotionally able to process this. Because look at this, the Lover's card is really, really positive card. Things are moving forward, right? But then the Lover reversed, this could be you. You can be told by someone, hey, you're unreliable, you are a mess, you messed up with me. And you know, like when people just give you all of that negative feedback, you have to figure out which people you value enough that you accept their negative feedback. But there's like somebody who clearly wants to control you with this negative feedback. And then you're going, yeah, come see, come ça, I don't know if I really need to think about it. It's kind of like going to give you, maybe open your eyes that you have this new skill, that things really don't get to you. It's kind of like water over duck's back kind of a thing. I really think there's like some kind of like acceptance that you need to reach. There's like maybe some situation is over. Maybe you could have used better words. Maybe you wanted to go towards someone and then you manipulated the situation. You tried to maybe present yourself better and then it just didn't really work out, or you tried to rebalance it. Maybe you tried to repair a situation and that somehow kind of like fell kind of like down. But ultimately you have the Lovers, which is you are deciding. The Lovers card, it's really weird. I don't know why is this card not called a choice. The Lovers card, I mean, the story behind it is the Fool arriving and watching this beautiful woman. So he's beyond tempted. He just wants to stay here. That's it. Never mind my trip. I'm parking here. I'm staying here. I'm mating with this woman. I'm staying here forever. But he gets visitation by the angel. Angel said, well, wait a minute, this whole purpose of this trip is that you meet all of these people, all of these circumstances, you experience the good and the bad, the horror and the happiness, right? And that's why the mountain is there. It's going to be challenging, but this is for your growth. You as a god came over here to experience this kind of like human being. You're free and they're naked. This woman is still going to be here. You go on your journey, you get this maturity, and then you come back, right? So he does choose kind of like something. This is a delayed gratification over here that I was really talking about. But check it out. Then we have the Widower over here. So look at him. He's elegantly dressed. He has his gloves over here, and he's laying a wreath on a grave in a cemetery, right? He's clearly mourning the loss of his wife. It says Miyakara Molly, Alia Miyakara Molly over here, right? So I guess this elegant attire suggests his possible reverence and his sincerity and his continuous devotion. It's kind of like the cemetery setting. It kind of symbolizes finality. You know, it's a kind of definite loss. Something is really, really gone. So maybe you're going through separation, guys, over here. Maybe there is a third party over here that I see. You know, if there is like a relationship that is in the forefront of your thinking right now, then possibly this is over, and possibly the situation is getting so freaking complicated that it just cannot be even handled day to day. You know, pass the salt kind of a thing, cannot do anymore. Also, the sentence says that you start appreciating something, but it's lost now, and it's kind of like making us feel old, making us feel that the life is passing us by. So that sometimes can happen as well, especially for fire signs and air signs as well, right? But it can talk about a period of where you need to kind of decide certain things on your own and move forward. So that is really important here to kind of like take this, because that will be that what do you call it, Three of Swords card in tarot over here, that we need to do it, right? So now be also careful about something in the future, and this kind of like resides down, because both the Lover and the Magicians, aren't they almost like the same, right? He's like serenading someone, so maybe just simply remembering somebody and thinking something was a mirage of some sort, or somebody's going to start wooing you, and it's going to be really too good to be true, because this person is a really, really good talker. So I don't know, you might be kind of like getting Gemini, and that's usually the opposite sign. Is very intriguing to us, because it's kind of like that missing dot, you know, in yin and yang, how there's a dot, and it kind of like, it feels kind of like that somebody turned a key on. But ultimately you have to kind of like realize there are lots of kind of like other side that you will need to look into. So you need to kind of like lift yourself about everything in order to kind of like move forward. So Sagittarius is going to be a really interesting week. You definitely will have this Mercury retrograde hitting you big times, biggie times. So let's see over here. Don't really have any lover stuff going on. Divorce was finally September. It was all messed up. Supposed to transfer some 401k and try to pay me. He then tried to pay me to do it. I was like, no, good. What secretary? Oh my gosh. I have a friend right now who asked for separation from her husband, and so she kind of rent, because they have a house and he just thinks that's his house. So she said, okay, you think it's your house, I'm going to rent it. So she rented literally 10 houses down from where they are. And so she said, okay, I'm sleeping there, you know, every other weekend the kids are with me, but during the week, because right now in Ontario, kids, the schools are closed, and so the kids have to do it online. So she's coming to original home every day to kind of like help the kids dress and get in the computer, get this started, do the lunch. And she says he just comes here, what's for lunch, like nothing happened. He just is using her as a freaking servant. So she says, oh my gosh, I'm so freaking tired with this. This is why I am separating. So kind of moving forward is really, really important. So, okay. So I didn't have pancakes in a while, but we'll see it. So we have Libra. We have Libras. It's my ascendant. It's Barbie's sun sign. Any other Libra that we have here? Oh, I need a stamp. Libra stamp. Oh my gosh, we're in 2 hours. Libra. Okay, Libra, I'm starting to cough over here. So let's see. See how my coughing is getting better. Oh, really? Exactly like your first husband. Like this guy is Aries, excuse me, and she's Gemini. Libra, you have Five of Pentacles, and that's kind of like feeling lonely, not knowing in which direction to go with this Eight. And there's something else with Flict and Temperance. What's going on, Barbie, over here? What the que pasa? That's right, I didn't see you putting all these little cute things and check marks. So something is going on with our Barbie. So let's see, 14, 22, 27, 29. There's like some finality, some finalization, that kind of like Five of Pentacles is always the two of us against the world, but now even between the two there is some kind of strife. It almost looks like something was very unconventional, even though I really have to say this window that is kind of like unattainable in the situation, and clearly they're not invited, so which means church has this like 10 commandments. You did something on these 10 commandments that didn't like, so hence you're not accepted. But here this window becomes a door, and it's almost look like the anchor. So the help is available of a sort. It's not going to be the easiest, kind of like there is some kind of transition that needs to happen. This card also shows up when somebody is engaged or taken. Doesn't have to be engaged with a ring on the finger, but somehow engaged in a career or something, workaholic of some sort, right? And it sometimes happens. I was just recently, oh my gosh, I watched, I love Jimmy Kimmel. He's my favorite late night comedian. And I know I looked on his profile because he always kind of like renders in a very scorpionic kind of like way things and kind of like it. But when I read his Wikipedia, his first wife and he met when they were very young, I think. And she divorced him because he was a workaholic, right? So that kind of like would be similarity to it here. But the Temperance reversed, it says just something doesn't glue, something doesn't work. Look at this, the thought is reversed here as well. So there is like this thinking, look, he has a skull, he has the hourglass over here. There is like some scent, it almost looks like, and it's a Leo, and he has something holding on his hand while something writing. Almost looks like he's really thinking about rendering some kind of like decision, but there is a last moment change if you really think of some sort, right? So this contemplation, like when you feel that you just wasted lots of time, just like for example me losing all the mentalies over here that really happened. So it could be that, you know, it's kind of really weird, your air sign, right? So this is air, this is earth, and this is fire. So there's like a combination of the things happening where there's some constraint that you feel you cannot really do much in a situation. So maybe you need to give it a little bit more thought that has been given so far, especially maybe you have given into desires and passions without thinking about the consequences, right? So that card here is almost like a warning that is telling you, look, review what you are doing, stop and think, right? Because almost like you're just trying to find an easy solution. But this can also talk about, for example, a troubled mind or anxiety or some kind of like worry. So you kind of like need to kind of like do that. So take the time this week and carefully consider this entire situation before moving forward. There's like something that cannot be gelled, cannot be glued at this time. And it bothers you very much. You almost like wanted to do it, but you don't feel that you're getting, let's say, outside help, that you're getting, you know, some kind of like assistance. That's really, really happening. So, well, it's not the easiest week to have, my dear Libra. So we'll see what Barbie says about that, right? Think, feast. All Pisces season, it will be like foggy like Neptune. Well, Pisces is like overly emotional for me. It's just like a burst in tears all the freaking time. So we'll see. Then dilemma for Libra, it's just horrifying, right? So yeah, she should definitely wait after Mercury Retrograde because she might buy a lemon. So we have Scorpio and Capricorn left, and Capricorn goes forward. I don't know if Chris is still driving, if he's with us. and or if he kind of like is already somewhere on the beach. So let me just put a stamp here for you. And Capricorn, Scorpio, you're going to be the last sign. Capricorn. Really, Leo has been following you. Like we see the Hermit over here, talking about Virgo. I always see Hermit, both Virgo and Aquarius. It's reversed, so it kind of doesn't matter. And you got a freaking whole bunch of cards flipping over here. So, oh my gosh, there is the Tower! Tower in the house. Oh my gosh, the Hermit. Two of Cups reversed, King of Wands reversed, the Tower, the World, and the Queen of Wands. So you're going to feel like a soul shaker this week. I'm not going to really lie to you over here. Okay, so there you go. The Hermit is, I guess, isolation is not something that you feel suitable at this stage. You want to be in some kind of like in a couple of with some sort, or you're moving toward your relationship, but almost looks like the relationship is right now out of grasp, or anything that comes through comes with some kind of baggage, right? That people have somebody else, because you know, like I mean, it's either that people are people have some issues. The King of Wands is generally upright. A person who is very energized, very energetic, and maybe this is it. You're not finding the right fit over here of some sort, or this can also mean at work that people are just very lethargic of some sort, or kind of like it shows really quickly. Maybe there is not enough spark if you really wish to be blunt in the situation. And then the Tower shows up. Because the Tower is basically almost like it's Mars dominated. It says, okay, you know what? Like, I mean, we need to kind of like reset everything. Certain things are not built properly. Generally tells you you need to kind of like go back to you and your expectations and your true needs and how you really want to present them. And then the World shows up. It means that you had to go through, let's say, a situation or negative period of a sort, and that could have lasted, because of Hermit, for even 9 months. So I guess you Capricorns know better. And then the end is near this week, and it's almost like it's going to be significant disturbance. The Tower shows up, guys. Flat tire. This is the Mercury Retrograde personified. Computers can go off. Relationships just explode in your face. You say something right, and then people yell at you. You know, like, you're just trying to figure out why is this all happening. And then there's like this King and Queen of Wands, and maybe there's a couple that you guys associate with that simply can mean that, or it could be you that is no longer the part of this couple, and this is like what is resulting this week, and hence this is shifting you in a new direction. It almost looks like that even the relationship that has been going on has been done as of need to not to be alone anymore. And this is a clearly bad decision, because it's made to cover that need instead of like being kind of like the soul to soul communication. So lots of things happening over here, my dear Capricorns. Ooh, we see the love. But this is a true love. This is like really, really encouragement. And I really think that's what you're kind of like raising as a phoenix, and appreciating who you really want to be and what you really want to do, right? So I think this is really good, even though this love means searching for love, looking in a direction that is going to be really, really beneficial for you. So big week. We have Scorpio left over here. And catch up with stuff. Creative Guru. Most people want to work through to the other side of the baggage. The ones who just keep gripping about their own baggage, holding them back, are the ones to avoid. Well, you know, baggage is baggage. It's sometimes, like, I mean, I have to tell you, as a life coach, as a therapist, it can take years, and then you all of a sudden like, what was I thinking, right? But the thing is, like, sometimes this grip is what defines us, because some people want the world to recognize that they have needs and they had been wronged. And it's problem in this world, we don't like victims too much unless these victims did something with themselves. But the truth is, they only do with themselves when they're ready. So it's a very tricky situation. But yes, getting involved with people like that, you're stagnating at best, but you're really being kind of like taken down. So Scorpio, you're last. Mr. and Mrs. Scorpio is your last. And let's see the stamp. All right, Scorpio. Let's see what we get here. Scorpio. We have 9 of Swords. This one wants to come out. We have King of Wands. There's something really, really upsetting you. Ooh, we have the 4 of Swords and the Hierophant. Almost looks like you're thinking of someone, or somebody's thinking of you. You are feeling very vulnerable during this transit. You're feeling like you're going to kind of like resort to meditation. You're going to resort to gratitude, and gratitude is the most important thing to have, more than love, more than financial comfort. Just gratitude, because it's always going to dig you out from whatever poo-poo you're in, right? It's really interesting that you have the Hierophant as the ending. You're kind of like going to go back either to religion or some kind of like system that you have built. You're a fixed sign, so you build your system, and your system is always part of the bigger system, where you kind of like try to figure out, you know, how to kind of like move forward. So 9 of Swords over here is, to me, the card that they called wash machine brain, right? And look at these 2 swords piercing right through her. So she does feel betrayed. There are kind of like issues over here, but the problem is like everything is like so dark, and I don't know if you ever look at the details. This quilt has actually planets and signs on it, right? So it's kind of like almost like that there is no connection with the universe. She's kind of like closing her eyes. We have 2 cards, 8 of Swords and 2 of Swords, where they are blindfolded, but here she's actually closing her own eyes, which means I just cannot face it. I just cannot deal with that. So that's why I call it wash machine brain, because it just keeps swirling around. Just keep going back. Why and why and why? We ask ourselves these why questions. We want why answers, but sometimes it's not important. Why did he leave me? Well, because he's a jerk, right? Kind of like, because he's a jerk is not an explanation good enough. I did this and I did it. Doesn't matter, right? And that doesn't matter. It takes sometimes time to overcome. So I don't know if this King of Wands is this person that you are obsessing about, or that's a person who somehow is looking at you and worrying about you of some sort, because this King of Wands almost looks like a fictional person. I'll be really honest with you. Maybe the fiction, maybe you have an idea of someone that is not how they really are. Maybe, you know, like, I mean, you're hoping that somebody's going to communicate with you, but I don't think he or she will, because here it's going to be, but you're going to be really quickly transitioning. It's going to be lots of thoughtful process, and almost looks like you'll be withdrawn from the other people for this week, because you have like this 4 of Swords, which is always that gratitude and gratification, and that's how you're rebouncing to rebouncing by focusing on the positive, by feeling thankful for what you have in your life. Sort of like, don't look in the spill milk, look at what's kind of like remaining there for you. And you're going to find the strength in kind of like organizations, maybe at work. That can be kind of like being at work, finding the structures. Anything with structure will be really, really beneficial. It's almost like there is a system that worked before, that you just simply need to flick a switch, and you're going to realize, I can do it again. Things can actually really work out again. I can really go in that direction again. So that's really, really important. See, sorrow. There is a sorrow here that I see, something that is over, guys. And that is really clearly telling you over here. And look at here, you have a 9. You have a 9. Something is really ending. Something was stretched as much as it was possible, and it is time to let go. This could be marriage, guys, for some of you. It could be separation that is needed, but certain things are coming to an end. Sorry. I just wish I can have a better finale over here, but this is what it is. So, why did I go for a jerk? It's harder to accept. So, we are going to do doors, and then I'm going to do doors. Let's do the doors. Let's do the doors first, and then I know angel cards again, or no. I don't know. What do you guys think? So let me just close this for now. Think of a question you want to ask over here, and let's do door number 1, left. Ooh, this one came through. Door number 2, and door number 3. All right, reveal, and let's go back. Where's the screen? Here we are. Okay, so, oh, Aries. I didn't put the stamp for Aries. Oh well. Where was the Aries? Just give me a second. It was before or after. Just going to put approximate after Leo. I'm going to put just something approximate. So guys, did you focus on your stuff? So the door left is the Devil. This might come as true, but it's going to be the last thing that you need in this at this point of your life. It can talk about relationships, about carnal cravings of some sort. It can talk about temptations. Some of you might end up in bed with your exes. Kind of like the Devil card is always feeling stuck in a situation. So the whole key there is to get really unstuck. And when you get unstuck, then you are able to really think about things really differently. Okay, Barbie, I've sent you the stuff, so she has it already. Then we have, for door number 2, we have a 6 of Pentacles. Be careful in the situation. Can continue, can be resolved only if you are doing everything, if you are sacrificing everything, and another person just takes the benefits out of it. Look at this 6. It's going to be about interpersonal relationships. And the door number 3 is going to be a status quo over here. There are like certain things that you just don't want to see. You're thinking that you know a solution, but the solution is more than what appears on the surface. So I would say at the best it's going to be stagnation, at the worst it's going to be a no over here. So that's kind of like where we go with this. And so guys, do you want one more angel card for kissing goodbye? Kind of like just to do that. And I guess probably you'll say yes. And I will do that here. Oh, look at that. It doesn't send me all the way to the beginning. So just CBO music. That's weird. That is going to show me the whole chat. So I'll just have to go with what I see, guys. And if I didn't call you, then you make sure that within seconds you say me, I'm here. CBO music, compassion, right? Make sure you get a hug of some sort, right? Barbie. Ooh, Barbie. Holy moly. Look at that. Barbie. You're having obedience. Make sure you're watching when you're driving. You're getting education. Are you being sent to driver's school for some reason? And you have inspiration. You're going to be creative. Adventure. And you're going to have presence. Wisdom. That's the Hermit. And abundance. That's a lot going on here. You take it any way you kind of like need it, madame. So that's going to be important. Did I drop something on the floor? No. Alright, so Lorna H is next. You have contentment. You're tending to a garden, so you will be tending to things that are really important to you and that really make you happy. Meeting Yogi over here. You've got 2 or 3. You got presence, you got abundance, and you got obedience. You and Barbie is sort of like in a similar vibes. So this is really good. I think it tells me about a meditation. I'm going to feel, you know, that you need to kind of follow a certain ritual or maybe even certain routines over here. Kylie, honesty. You're going to be facing your fears or facing your demons over here. Then, who is next? Did a Barbie, and then I see Charter next over here. Balance. Did you not get the same thing there as well? Can you put things in perspective? And then I see Creative Guru. Relaxation. Man, you're getting the best freaking card. This one is the easiest to do. Hey, just relax a little bit. Chill. Maybe you're too... Oh, no, you got something else. Adventure. Chill and just do some fun things. Kind of like, don't be too kind of like, I guess, tensed. Let's see. Chris, over here. Chris. Truth. Truth. It's almost like confession, talking to someone. It's weird. It's kind of showing the other person, or maybe you're asking for some answers over here. Who knows? Did they do Lorna H? Lorna H, relaxation. Huh? Good one. Who else do I see here? Creative Guru, did I do this? Delight. Is there some birthday coming up over here? It looks like it's just a group of people, celebration for in a card. I don't know what this means. What else do I see over here? Kelsey. Kelsey. Hi, Kelsey. You're getting harmony. There's like going to be emotional, fulfilling kind of like message this time, kind of like focus on this. So it's important. And did I do CBO music? Yeah, I think I did it, but for some reason, I guess obedience again. Ikat. Simplicity. Don't complicate things. Lynn Westbrook. Lynn, you're getting faith. Leap of faith. Just take a leap of faith. So she's jumping, and this one is like, no, I'm not so sure about that, right? So it's really Jennifer, another aqua girl. Oh, Jennifer, look at this. You're getting joy, jumping of joy. You have like two friends. Kind of like there's like something that you're going to feel really, really in sync. So it's really, really important over there. Oh, no. Who am I missing? Am I missing anybody? I think all of these I did. It's almost like a memory test over here. Nutella. Nutella. I love Nutella. This is so bad for you. It's just like some oil. But man, it feels like chocolate. I'm just scrolling. Kelsey. Education. There are like certain things that you need to kind of like discover and read, and that's really, really going to help you. There we go. Look at this. We spent like freaking 2.5 hours. It's awesome. So clearly readings today are out of question. I'm going to be kind of like drained, but we have the sun outside, so I think I'm going to take Mr. Tiger for another walkie. And there it is. The ears are right up, kind of like to do that. So guys, thank God we didn't have a mess. Well, I shouldn't say we didn't have a mess, because we are still doing this, so it will be interesting to see kind of like how this really works out. Chris, thank you very much for your donation. It's always appreciated. I'm going to play a really, really quick music over here, and I will see you next week. Remember Mercury Retrograde, and remember I'm going to post, I guess, pictures of Safi on her birthday coming up, and we are moving into February, and hopefully the winter will be officially over by the time February is done. So guys, have an amazing rest of the day, great weekend. I'll talk to you next weekend. Love you. do